Hello everyone! Today we'll explore if our given names affect how others perceive us in the context of dating app profiles. With the advancements of technology, dating has been revolutionized. So often enough, before we're able to greet a potential date in person, we greet them virtually. Before we understand their personality in person, we read their profiles. From our observations and experiences with Tinder, Coffee Meets Bagel, Lovestruck, and more, we found that profiles typically contain your potential date's photos, first name, education, profession, and hobbies. With a swipe at our fingertips, we determine whether someone is a complete stranger or potentially the love of our lives. We know we swipe yes to someone good looking. But does the name shown on the profile matter? How does it affect our impression of our potential date? Let's take a look at this video.
喂 ，Hi， 喂，訪問下先。我想問咧，通常你哋身邊嗰啲靚女咧叫咩名啊？
你覺得咧？我覺得 Christine 係靚女咯。我 Carrie 好啲啊
，Carrie， 哦，多謝。係咁如果身邊啲靚仔咧，通常叫咩名㗎？OK， 好，唔該晒。
The question we ask is, does a person's name affect others' perception of his or her attractiveness? In Hong Kong, most of us have two English names, one from the English language. We'll refer to it as the English nickname, and the other name is translated from our Chinese name. To find out if these two names give out different impressions, we show 130 participants some dating app profiles and asked them to fill out a questionnaire. With a bit of imagination and Photoshop skills, we created some dating app profiles. These are the two female profiles. They are identical, except for the name. We have one profile of a civil servant named Rachel, and the same civil servant named Wing Yan. We randomly divided our male participants into two groups. One group saw Rachel's profile, and the other saw Wing Yan's. Same for the male profiles. The only difference was in their names, Anson and Zihin. Similarly, half of our female participants saw Anson's profile, and the other half saw Zihin's. After viewing these profiles, participants move on to a short questionnaire to tell us what they think about Anson, Zihin, Rachel, or Wing Yan. Questions range from how intelligent you think the person is to how likely you swipe yes for him or her. Who doesn't love dating app profiles? Some participants told us that this was one of the most entertaining psychology surveys they've taken part in. So, who do you think is more attractive? Drum roll, please. Our male participants gave similar ratings to Rachel and Wing Yan. However, our female participants gave Anson an attractiveness score of 3.06 out of 5, and Zihin only got 2.51. Our female participants do have high standards. Statistically speaking, our females do believe that Anson is more attractive than Zihin.
It appears that men and women do look for different things when choosing their dates. Why did Anson get higher attractiveness ratings than Zihin? The first explanation is the famous mere exposure effect proposed by psychologist Robert Science. The simple rule is, the more you see or hear something, the more you like it. Hear a song for the first time, don't like it. The second time, yeah, it's alright. For the third time, the tune gets into your head and you start to like it more. That's why singers pay so much to have their new songs played on the radio. The mere exposure effect also applies to names. The more you hear a name, the higher chance you like it. In Hong Kong, especially for younger generations where our participants belong to, it is more common to introduce ourselves with English nickname compared to our Chinese names. There may be many Zihins around us, but we seldom hear them introduce themselves as Zihin. On the contrary, we may not know as many Ansons, but we still hear this name more often than Zihin. The more often we're exposed to it, the more we like it. The other rule is similarity. We are attracted to those who are more similar to us. Just as birds of a feather flock together, we tend to be closer to those who are more alike to us. For example, many of us choose dates who look alike to us. No surprises. Also, research generally agreed that individuals who share similar attitudes stick together for longer. The way we introduce ourselves is an indicator of whether we are similar or dissimilar to someone. While our participants are likely to introduce themselves using their English nicknames, they are likely to infer that Anson has a more similar social and cultural background to themselves. A name is not just a name. Our brain goes the extra mile. It begins with similar way of introducing ourselves, which means similar social circle and similar language usage, similar background and similar culture. Yeah, bingo, this is not someone I should miss. Still unconvinced? Our third explanation is the name pronunciation effect. Psychologists found that we form more positive impressions towards someone whose name is easy to pronounce compared to a difficult name. If our brain has a choice, it chooses to be lazy and straightforward. We're already busy enough at work, right? Who wants to use more of our brain cells when swiping Tinder? Now tell us, which one is easier to pronounce, and who do you love more? People love Harry Potter not just simply because he's extraordinary. It could also be that his name is easier to be pronounced than Voldemort. It's Voldemort, by the way. The T is silent as this name is French. Like Harry Potter, Anson is much easier to pronounce. It does not contain an apical consonant, which is precisely what makes Zihin so hard for our tongues. Take a step further, this could explain why we like people from our own race more than those from other races for first impressions. We can't even pronounce their names right. Now, another big question. Girls pick Anson over Zihin. What about the boys? Do they care about names? Evolutionary psychologists are keen to explain the difference. They say we exist to survive and reproduce, and of course, we need a mate to help us with that. Among all factors of mate choice, females look for male partners who can take care of them and are resourceful enough to raise their babies. Superman is the perfect man not only because of his super firm six-pack, but also because he's super rich and super popular. The name Anson is more westernized, which is often associated with higher status and education level. Comparatively, Zihin is not as common in international business settings, suggesting lower resourcefulness to females. Do female names matter that much to males as well? Who cares? She's hot, she's fertile, likely to pass on your genes. That's it. He wouldn't care if her name is harder than a tongue twister. Now you know what name to put on your dating app profile. In short, girls, put whatever name you like plus your best photo. Boys, do be mindful of the name you put on your profile. It matters. Simple rules when you name your kids. Make sure it's nothing too uncommon and it is easy to be pronounced. Also, be culturally sensitive. Our name tells a story. Well, unless you're Elon Musk. Now your turn. Harold and Vincent. Who do you like more? We knew it. Harold. You might not remember Harold, but we did mention his name a few times throughout this presentation. Mere exposure effects and similarity effects. Here you go.